So then, for those of us that are parents, how does your kid feel about their parent trying to hold on to their youth?
I want to see how the guys answer that one. Go ahead, guys.
This video is brought to you by LastPass. We'll hear more about them later. For now, let's get on to today's video. Welcome to Room 6, the channel dedicated to local and not-so-local music and the people that make it, including my guests. And my guests today are a four-piece alt-metal band out of Vancouver, Washington, founded in 2017. Their sound is melodic and grungy, fused with metal elements. They were nominated for the 2023 ISA Awards Band of the Year and Single of the Year for their song River Runs Dry. They've shared the stage with huge acts like Saliva, Yngwie Malmsteen, and more. And their latest single, Gaffy, is out now, and I'll be reviewing that coming up here in a few days. So make sure you subscribe and ring the bell, yada, yada, yada. Now then, please welcome to the channel, Beautiful Skeletons. Hi, guys.
Hello. Thanks for having us.
Whoop, whoop. So, first
Wild
off,
bunch.
Howdy, y'all.
Wild, but yeah. Wow. First off, welcome. Thank you for coming on. And before anything else, I got to ask, why is it called Beautiful Skeletons?
You guys want me to answer that, or maybe?
Yep.
So when we first started, it was a casual jam project, and we were recording sort of all of our open jams. And our original drummer at that time didn't know what to use for a naming convention, so he just kind of randomly made up like Beautiful Skeletons, Jam 1, Jam 2, and sent it to us. And Anar and I really loved it. We were like, well, shit, let's just name the project Beautiful Skeletons. So that's how that was born.
Awesome. By the way, if you want to be on the channel, whether reviewed, interviewed, or both, hit me up using my email address down in the description, or click the Room 6 social media link. That's where you'll find all the ways that you can support the channel, what I'm up to online, yada, yada, yada. But for now, let's get back to you guys. So any plans to do some sort of great big tour past Washington? You got a tour coming up soon?
Okay, how about this? I'll put it this way. In the perfect world, Beautiful Skeletons will be hopefully in Europe at the end of the year on some really awesome summer tour somewhere around festival time. And yeah, you're going to see us everywhere. Unfortunately, right now, we've got a bunch of things that are sort of like the ink hasn't dried yet. So I hate to jinx it or get ourselves in trouble. We do have a full schedule for the year, and we are very much hoping also to be able to land some shows over across the pond on Huey's side of the world, hopefully, UK and Ireland, Italy. That would be great. We'll just see how that pans out.
There you go. Put it out in the universe there. And if you end up anywhere near Vegas, let me know. Come to a show.
Okay.
Speaking of which, if you happen to be anywhere near Vegas on March 30th, that's a Saturday, I am putting on my first ever all heavy metal showcase of Room 6 guests that have been on the channel in the past. It's called Room 6 Rampage March Madness. Basically, it's at a new venue too called Synwave. It's run by musicians, for musicians, but it's a proper venue, and I'm so excited. I'm so glad that I interviewed one of the owners for his band, Shark Fuse, and one thing led to another, and now we're going to be doing this. So tickets are $6.66 plus tax online, or $10 at the door, and of course I had to go 666. So, but yeah, there's going to be some amazing talent there. Flyers on screen. So that's enough shilling for me. All right, back to y'all. I'm going to ask some of my usual questions before I get into some more personalized questions for you. And the number one usual question I ask, any OG Room 6er knows this one. What is that first moment you remember going, I want to do that?
Are we talking like music wise, or?
Yeah. I want to be like your earliest influence of what made you want to go down this twisted road that is music?
Start with Einar. He has a great villain arc / backstory.
Oh gosh, probably going back to when I was like early teens. Getting introduced to Iron Maiden, Scorpions, and just the early '80s. George Lynch really kind of a pivotal artist for me. Always admired his style, still admire his style. And, of course, Yngwie Malmsteen, we had a chance to tour with him there a couple of years ago. And yeah, I mean, Rat, like I said, anything from the early 80s, Eddie Van Halen, huge influence on me. And, it's just absolutely, yeah, just, you get the bug and the bug never leaves. And, here we are 30, 40 years later.
Nice. Next.
For me, it was Van Halen and probably Metallica. When I heard them, I started playing guitar at like 12, 13. And then I started playing metal bands, oldies rock bands, everything like that. I just tried to play everything, learn everything I could. It was just a wide mix of genres from Metallica to Louie Louie to the Kingsmen, everything else like that.
The Kingsmen. I wasn't expecting that thrown in there.
Yeah. Chuck Berry, all that stuff.
Nice. Huey?
Me, probably AC/DC, If You Want Blood, that album cover with Angus lying on stage with a guitar coming out of him. I bought that purely for the cover. I knew nothing about metal or rock music or anything. Opening chords, that threw me in love with rock music. Next day I bought Kiss Alive 1. As soon as I heard the drum solo, I'm like, Dad, I want to be a drummer. Here I am.
Pretty straightforward. It's a direct link between AC/DC and wanting to be a drummer.
Yeah. It's the groove, I think.
Right on. And I think, what do we have left? Tina?
It's embarrassing. So I always save myself for last. But that moment for me was Diana Ross. The first time I ever heard Diana Ross.
That's not embarrassing.
I heard Diana Ross. My mom was a big, she loved the divas. So Diana Ross, Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, Barbra Streisand. I mean, all of the really big greats. Once I started really hearing them, I thought, that's what I want to do.
Which leads me to my next question. How did all of your various influences, with the exception of possibly of Einar, who was kind of already sort of in that world, how did that lead to the sound you now have?
Fuck if I know. I've been trying to figure that shit out too. Right? That's like the goddamn question of the century. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Just to kind of add to that, I think, when we write music, we're not really focusing on any, it's super organic. And there's no rules. We're not trying to stay in any one particular lane or try to sound like, anybody. We just, I think, our influences range, obviously huge variety, and including country and, thinking back to my childhood, for me, my parents were huge into the Beatles and Elton John and yeah, I don't know. It just it is what it is. I don't really have anything else.
There you go. It is what it is, says the Viking. I love it.
That's actually, in my opinion, the best way to write music is to not be afraid to, break the boundaries that, you've set up already in the past, or to say, why not? Let's fuck it. Let's try throw in some country or throw in some, psychobilly or whatever, just to see. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So speaking of trying different things, Tina, you collaborated with, and I'm going to butcher this pronunciation, Sphinx?
Oh, wow, you found that. Yes.
Yeah.
S.
First of all, how do you say that?
It's Sphinx.
Of course it is. It's 3 S's FIN and 3 X's. Why wouldn't I think it was S-Sphinx?
Right.
I figured they were going Phoenix, something like that. So
No.
or Phoenix. Anyway, so you did a collaboration with that, and you've done some other collaborations, right? You've been featured as a singer on some other things, right?
Yeah. I've done collaborations on like a huge variety of things. Everything from like the down tempo sort of Portishead type stuff that you found with Sphinx, which is a label, independent label based out of Romania. We did a lot of like lo-fi kind of stuff. But I've made appearances on metalcore, rapcore, like all the cores. I don't know. I always end up doing a collaboration with an artist in a new genre, and I'm all about that because it's boring if you don't push your boundaries. So I love it.
Agreed. I'm still waiting for a polka core band to come out.
Let me know when you find one. That'd be a good one to add in my belt.
Weird Al Yankovic would do
Fuck
it.
yeah.
And another question for you, Tina. You still hate geese?
So much. And I can really tell, sir, that you have done your motherfucking research.
I have been called the next Nardwar.
I don't know what that is, but yes. Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm glad because he's really annoying in my opinion. But Sean Evans, Hot Ones.
Oh, okay, Hot Ones.
He is my Patronus. I would love to his research team. Let me tell you some of the things he pulls out. But all right. From there, we asked some questions of Tina. Einar, you went from drums to guitar. Is that right?
Yeah, I originally started playing the drums when I was probably like 7 or 8, and that was my love for up until I just started playing guitar, probably age 13, 14, and just always been, since then drawn more to the strings than the drums. I mean, I play occasionally. I own a couple of kits that are parked over at Huey's house right now, just kind of parked it at the guitar.
I was just going to ask, okay, you own a couple of kits. Which one's in your living room? But you put them in Huey's living room.
Huey's got a bigger living room anyway.
Yeah. we were kind of transitioning. We decided to leave our old rehearsal space and started rehearsing over at Huey's house. And so I had all this gear, and I didn't have any room in my garage or at my place. So the entire trailer came over to Huey's, and we just loaded.
And Huey's given us the tour there. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually,
happens.
I'm sorry, what?
Where the magic happens.
So I want to piggyback on what Einar said. So what is your biggest hurdle traveling the world with drums? Because you've played drums all over the world in many countries. And I always wondered, as a frontman who's a singer and a guitarist, how do you make sure that your drums get safely? Because we've all heard horror stories and seen horror stories about airlines and like guitars just damaging them. I know you got the padded bags for your shells, but still,
I've never done it. I've travelled, toured around Europe. It was coming from the UK, so it was at the back of a van, cases in the back of a van. But I've never travelled by air with drums or anything like that.
Sorry, my American is showing. I assumed you were traveling from Washington to these places. No, of course. All right. Back to Einar. Another question for you. Can we talk about Voodoo Machine for a little bit?
Wow.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Old band from the early 2000s. I believe 2000 to 2004, 2005 is when we, like most bands, there's a beginning and an end. And I called it quits at that point. It was, it was a great band, great chemistry. We recorded a CD with Jeff Warner from Black and Blue. And that was kind of a treat. Heavily involved with the production side of it. Had a sponsorship to fund the entire thing, and during that run, we had a sponsorship with Jägermeister. so they were putting on a lot of shows. They had a band program at that time, so we did a lot of regional stuff with did a show with 36 Crazy Fists, and there was a band at the time out of Spokane called 5 Foot Thick. That I can't remember what label they had just signed on to, but Buddha Machine. He the drummer from that band was the original drummer for Beautiful Skeletons that we started out with. A good friend of mine, Chad Butler. And unfortunately, as we kind of progressed and got a little hungry for live performances, he didn't want to do the live part. So, that was a good time.
Right on. And then I guess it's only fair that I bounce from Voodoo Machine to Kilgora. Huey, you want to talk about them?
It was I was living in Thailand. I lived in Thailand for about 12 years, and I gave up music for 10 years and moved to Thailand. After 10 years, I met a guitarist over there from Norway. We formed a band, recorded an album, did about 3 shows in Thailand, and that was literally it. It was never released on a label or anything like that. It was more of a kind of project of love. But it's 3 Europeans or Scandinavians in a foreign country where there's not really a music scene. Nah, it didn't quite work out.
Huh. Right.
But
I can totally see that.
Yeah, because I'm over here. Yeah, it was a good band and great chemistry. One of those bands that I loved getting together, but just couldn't really happen. So here I am now, and this is probably the first band since then that I've really feel like I'm part of. That I feel the music kind of inside me with this one.
That's a really important point, especially you new musicians. If you're not like excited to play the music, you don't need to be in that band. You really don't. Don't do it because you got nothing else going on. You'll find something else.
Yeah.
All right.
Truth.
Jason, we've saved the best for last.
Yes, I'm unmuted.
Yes, you are. So you lived in Vegas and LA before going up to Vancouver?
I grew up here in Vancouver. I moved to Vegas and then came back and then moved to LA.
Now, did you move to Vegas or you were moved?
I moved to Vegas.
Okay. A lot of times when people say they came to Vegas, they were kids, or my relationship person got a job or something. So I just thought it was interesting. It was like, wait. If you're in Vancouver, why the hell would you live in Vegas?
I definitely felt like a fish out of water down there in Vegas. Yeah, Vancouver was a much smaller town back then. And
I will be honest. If my child, who's 16 now, had not gotten into a lottery-only charter school, which is college prep all the way through high school, I was literally. We have friends in Tigard, Oregon, which is kind of in that neighborhood. But all of our friends in Vegas moved up there slowly over time. So we have this whole support system. And I was 2 weeks away from crashing on someone's couch and trying to get a job going up there because at the time I was on unemployment and my wife was a substitute teacher just long enough in the public school system here to be like, I don't want our kid to go. And, she had heard about this and we put our daughter's name in. And now, 10th grade, we're really glad we did. But it's like, if I can guarantee you when my kid goes off to college, we're seriously looking at moving to Washington, some part, or up in that area where it's green and you got to bundle up and stuff like that. I say that as someone who grew up in the mountains, so I do know what I'm talking about. Whereas my wife grew up in Northern California, but in like Benicia and Stockton, so not mountains. Doesn't know the joys of the switchbacks and stuff. So anyway, I digress. Speaking of, you have a daughter who's almost in college, right?
Yeah, she's a senior in high school.
Yeah. Is anybody else here a parent? Okay. So who is the only one holding out?
Yeah.
Right on. So then for those of us that are parents, how does your kid feel about their parent trying to hold on to their youth?
I want to see how the guys answer that one. Go ahead, guys.
Well, I'll since I'm unmuted, I'll keep going. So I try to get my kids to plug my projects I'm in. When I was playing for a country artist, they're like, "Yeah, Dad, it's country. We don't care." This band, they're like, "What do you got going on?" Like, yeah, okay, but it's sometimes they'll plug me, or when their friends find out about it, their friends are like, "Whoa, wait, your dad's in that band?" So they think that's kind of cool, but I don't know. I just, don't ever grow up. I guess just keep doing what you love, and you'll stay young.
Next.
I guess I'm gonna go. Both my kids super supportive. My daughter, she's 24. She comes to every show. A lot of times she's my sounding board when I'm coming up with ideas on guitar. We've written songs together. My son was he did a brief stint in the band. He played drums for us for a little while, and he started his own family, so his focus shifted. They got married and started having their own family, and which is great and fine. And we stumbled onto Huey, and so I think everything worked out as it was designed.
Now, before we get on to Tina, and realizing that she's holding on to youth by a thread. Before we get on to Tina, now Soren is your daughter, right?
Soren's my son.
I'm sorry, son.
Yep.
I was stuck on the daughter thing, but Soren was the drummer briefly for the band, correct?
Yeah, he was with us through the entire writing of our first EP and recording of that, and he played a lot of local shows with us. But as we had some opportunities to go out of state and do some national stuff, he took a back seat, and we had a friend of ours that filled in on drums for quite a few shows. It was I think that lasted for about a year, and then we kind of saw the need to get somebody permanent, and then the ad was posted and had a bunch of people respond, and Huey just fit the bill. I mean, on all levels, And then first time we played together, just improvising with the drummer for me is really critical as far as just the chemistry, and with the three of us, me, Huey, and Jason, as far as writing. The chemistry is there, and we're just, everybody understands one another, and it's just, that to me is a priceless part of the equation.
It is a beautiful thing when you realize that exactly what the drummer's about to do, and it's not something you've played for years. Yeah, I was going through the Instagram for the band, and Soren was there, and so for a second I thought Soren was the drummer, and then I thank you so much, by the way, for listing the band members on so many things. You have no idea how many bands I have on this channel, and they don't tag anybody in their photos. They never list who's in the band, and I gotta guess. I gotta figure it out, so I don't get those cool deep dive questions sometimes. I just have to ask generic band questions. So thank you, whoever's doing all that. Thank you so much. They're
Yeah,
pointing
it's
at you,
pretty. I
Tina.
feel like it's pretty important. Yes.
Yeah. So, Tina, how does your kid feel about you trying to hang on?
Okay, well, I don't really know where to start with this because I have 3 teenagers. I have 2 teenage girls and a teenage boy.
You didn't learn your lesson.
No, sir. I liked my fun time a little too much. Anyway, we're good now, though. My girls, they are very aware of what I do, and they've kind of seen me go through a lot of different projects, but they're teenage girls. They exist in their own world. In fact, my middle child refuses to listen to anything that I do. And she's told me on a number of occasions that, she doesn't want to share me with the world, which I think is really sweet that she thinks the world gives a shit about me. But my son, on the other hand, he just turned 14 and he is a drummer. He's also a fucking savant. He just picks up an instrument and just plays it like he's been doing it his whole life. And he actually was going around with the band during this last summer, during festival season, and sort of like being our roadie and You know, I mean, it's really great because all of us are family people for the most part. I mean, even for Huey, like just even having his partner involved and stuff, and that for us comes before anything else. And it's important that the project I'm in for the long run understands that on a, you know, on a personal level. So we all actually are familiar with each other's kids, and their kids are familiar with us. But yeah, I mean, you know, my son, he maybe pimps out the band name a little bit, but yeah, it's the whole like, oh gosh, mom, don't like touch me. That's embarrassing. They're all in that stage right now. So yeah.
Yeah. Mine lets me hug her at least, but
Whoa.
I know, right? That's a fair thing. My father-in-law, who actually lives in the same house as us, he told us something very early on when we had a kid, and because he has my wife and my wife's sister, who's 3 years younger, and he told us this, and it has been so true. We all heard about that terrible twos and the terrible fours. It's the odd years that you got to watch out for. The even years, they seem to kind of like course correct and undo whatever it is you had to like deal with on the odd years. So I'm enjoying 16. Yay. We're going to hear a quick message from Future Josh, and I think we're going to take a quick little booze break. So, booze break.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Thanks, Josh from the past. Want to know a universal truth? Passwords are a pain. Want to know another one? Having only one password makes everything a lot easier. That's what I use. LastPass to secure my online presence. LastPass is like autopilot for all your passwords, giving you peace of mind wherever you go online. With over 33 million people using it and plans ranging from free to $4 a month, it's a great way to secure your privacy and save you time and frustration and hassle trying to remember which password goes where. Just for watching this video and for being part of Room 6, and for a limited time, you can use my affiliate link down in the description to get a Teams subscription for only $4 a month. Plus, you'll be helping out the channel. Thanks to LastPass for being a sponsor, and let's get back to today's show. We're back, and if that sponsor spot interested you at all, please consider clicking the link down in the description to save yourself some money, get me some money. It's a win-win. Thank you very much. I don't know what it was for, but I hope it was interesting. Now then, a couple more questions, and then we're going to get to that music video for whatever it is we're going to see. If you want to know more about what Beautiful Skeletons is up to, I've got their social media links down in the description. So you can follow them. Now then, really quick, I wanted to talk. This particular lineup has been together for a little while now, right?
It's pretty new, actually. All things considered, I think it's been 7 months, 6 months, 6 months.
But you've got some shows under your belt.
Yeah, I mean, I might just touch on that just a little bit. We actually had this badass tour, and I don't even know if I can tell you the artist's name because it didn't actually end up happening. I had a family emergency literally the week before we were getting ready to fly out and do this fucking phenomenal run with two of the biggest names in the industry. But unfortunately, and you know, happens with family, I had a family emergency. We had to pull out. And that would have been Huey's first run with us, really. What would have been like this incredible tour. So unfortunately, that we had to pass on that because I had that family emergency, and we had some local shows actually scheduled afterwards. And then Jason got COVID, and like all this other stuff happened. And he actually ended up we didn't even do our first show together as this lineup until just recently. It was like 2 months ago, I think, was our very first one together live.
Okay. Well, the reason I ask is I usually ask, what's your favorite show memory performing as Beautiful Skeletons? However, if you want to dip into your well of all the years you've played drums all over the world, what is your favorite show memory performing? And it could be one where things went way off the rails, or you checked off a bunch of rock star wish list things, or what. But let's say you're at a party and you're like, "Hey, I'm in a band," and you say, and you want to tell a story that is going to make them just lose their mind. What do you got?
I don't know about a story, but it is a story. Everything's a story, isn't it? Brixton Academy in London, I think, was the biggest venue I've ever played, and it's always a bucket list to play there anyway. Getting to play there is like my number one memory of playing a show, I think. just being on a huge stage with a huge audience, yeah.
Yeah, you never forget that first big audience, do you?
Totally, yeah. And the second memorable one, in different ways, was the band I was in the UK. We came over here. We came over and did a 2-week, 18 shows in 21 days in Texas in 1995. And the very second show, I stepped off the drum riser and my ankle twisted and broke. And I played the rest of the tour hobbling around. I had no insurance or anything, so I played the rest of the tour literally hopping into venues. So that
What?
pretty
Go ahead.
ways.
What are you, Dave Grohl?
I must be, I suppose. I always seem to play when I'm injured.
Yeesh. That's of all the things you could break, right? As a drummer.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it was a hairline fracture. It was black. It was all different colors. It was horrible, but funny at the same time.
Next batter up.
So I guess, well, I have a bunch. Different genres I played in. I played a lot of big stages, a lot of different places and stuff. So I have a funny story. You guys have all heard this. So we're playing. We're playing at the Ellensburg Rodeo. We're opening for a major country artist, and the front, like the whole stadium's just full of people. The front row is just full of all these females, and I'm thinking to myself, it's like, wow, that young lady right there's fallen in love with my green bass, right? Like, I have this really, really gorgeous bass, and she was just staring right at it, and so after the show, I get off stage and I realize that my zipper is down the whole entire set.
I do it.
Yeah, that was. I was like, oops. But that's not the only time that's happened. I think it happened once with Beautiful Skeletons, but
I had something kind of in the same realm happen to me. I was fronting a cover band, and best band name in the world for a cover band, by the way, it was Revolving Door. But I was playing, and for some reason, 3 ladies that I worked with at the time, showed up. Not bad to look at, might I add. But I'm playing, I'm singing, and for whatever reason, one of them runs their hands down the guitar string as I'm playing, okay? Runs her hands down the guitar and down my legs. I'm like, I'm married, right? And it was interesting the next day at work.
Sounds messy.
Yeah, well, no. I mean, that's all that happened, but it was still weird. It was like, why? I feel funny. I need an adult. Anyway, Einar or Tina, you want to step up?
Memorable shows. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. I think Greensboro, North Carolina is probably in the top 3, just because the crowd there was. They were just so into the music scene, and it was a decent venue. It's pretty good size, but it's just one of those nights where you can just you can feel the energy, and it was all positive, and then a lot of applauses after each song, and it was the last show of our tour. This is in 2022, and yeah, it was just pretty amazing. And I think another one, I had a chance to play the Whiskey in 2002, I believe there was. And, of course, a very iconic venue. And we actually have a show coming up here in May down at the Whiskey. It'd be nice to get back into the LA area and experience that for a second round. But yeah. Tina?
Iconic.
Wait, did I miss the moment that you liked, or you were just saying that you liked that night?
You talking about the Whiskey or Greensboro?
No, for Greensboro. Yeah, your favorite moment, I think, was the question.
Oh, just that entire evening. I mean, it was just electrifying.
That's fair. He can say the whole night.
Yeah.
No, just kidding.
No gatekeeping. Right, Tina, what's your favorite moment?
This wasn't with Beautiful Skeletons, but so in real life, I'm quite short. Barely 5'1" on a good day if I'm feeling confident. But we were playing at a venue in Portland, Oregon, and it's called the Hawthorne, and it's been around for a long time. And I was in a prog rock band at that time, and we scored this awesome show at the Hawthorne. It was fully capped out. I mean, there were so many people there. The stage at the Hawthorne is taller than I actually am. Of course, I'm also blind. So who knew? I'm blind and I'm short. And I did not properly assess the height of the stage. So we're playing and I'm into it. And I prefer much to be off stage if I have enough mic cable. So I decide halfway through a song, I'm going to just jump off the stage. I can land that, no problem. Like, this should be badass. Just go with the moment. So I did just that. I was halfway through a song and I decided I was going to jump off. First of all, I'm pretty sure I did some long-term damage to my knees. But more importantly, grossly underestimated the amount of mic cable I needed. So what happened was it basically unplugged itself, and I was in the middle of the crowd and realized that I couldn't just turn around and like climb up on the stage. I'm also not athletic, so that was just not even a possibility. I had to actually run around the stage all the way around, come all the way back up, find my mic cable plugged into my effects processor, and plug it in and not miss a beat. And you know what? I didn't miss a beat. Everyone thought I did it on purpose, but the reality is I almost fucking died that night. And I will never jump off a stage again unless I can see in the daylight exactly how tall the fucking thing is. That was bad.
Good news. Last question. You made it. Yay. Stick around. We're going to be seeing a video from them, a music video from them, and then a fun little outro. But again, if you want to know what they're up to, hit those social media links. That'll be down in the description. And I will be reviewing Gaffy, which is their latest song, coming out here probably in 4 days. So subscribe, ring the bell so you don't miss out on that. Now then, we're going to circle back to that first, well, not first question, but that question about your earliest musical influence. Let's pretend we're talking to little you. Okay? And by that, what I mean is, yes, Tina, what I mean is we're going to talk to like new musicians. Someone who comes up and says, how do I be like you? What I want to know is, if you could hop in a time machine and go back, it's that old chestnut question. And my OG Room Sixers know this one. If you could hop in the time machine and go back and tell yourself one thing, like, hey, kid, you're going to need to know this before you go down this road, what would you say? And don't say change your strings.
All right, I'll go first. Practice, kid. Go practice.
How much should I practice?
More.
And the reality is, even 15 minutes of practice with intent will fill the need. So yes, practice more, practice again. Next,
Switch to bass sooner. I guess that would be. Don't quit playing guitar because of people that you're leaving behind. That's kind of what I did. Stick with it. Practice. And don't change your strings. It's a bass. Leave the strings on there. They're good for about 2 years. You don't need
they're
to change them,
expensive,
right?
Bass strings are really expensive, especially upright bass.
Yeah, I don't even own one of those. But
Same with Dana. Practice, metronome, practice, and don't give up.
Yeah, the
That's it.
metronome is huge.
Definitely more so today than any other time. I think now.
All right, Tina, you're up.
I'm really surprised nobody said this. If I could go back and tell my younger self, I would say start saving now.
Ooh, yeah.
Because shit's going to get really expensive on your way to the top. You'll get there, but just going to go really, really broke trying to, right? So, that whole job thing, yeah, just start now. $5 every pay period, for the next 30 years, and maybe you'll get like a good interest return rate. But yeah, it's going to be pricey.
2 words, pawn shop. Every guitar on that wall is less than $200, and most of them are from a pawn shop that I worked at. and I got some really good deals because I work there, but also because they're not trailer queens. You know, they're not the one you're afraid to take to a bar.
2 words. Only fans. Build your base now to support your habit later.
Yeah, Jason.
Don't tell him my secret.
It's for musicians, right? And he's got fans in the name.
Speedos.
All right. With that, I don't know how else to end it, but say thank you very much for watching. Thank you for being on the channel. Stick around. We're going to see a music video from Beautiful Skeletons, and then we're going to catch you in the outro. Temporarily say goodbye, everybody.
Temporarily say goodbye. Oh, yeah.
Bye.
Swollen is your tongue as you wax violent in your throat. Yet you never seem to drown. You ask me how I feel, and I'm trying to answer, but you shut me down. Die away, my words as a weapon, my plans a sword.
want to thank Beautiful Skeletons for coming on the channel. It was a great interview and an awesome music video. Definitely, there's a link down in the description to watch the full music video for Kraken whenever you want. But thank you very much for watching. If you want to know what they're up to, hit those social media links. If you want to see more videos like this, please click up there. If you want to subscribe, click up there, ring the bell. You know the drill. And if you want to hear my own music, click over there. Remember to be amazing, and we'll see you next time on Room 6. Say goodbye, everybody.